Have you ever thought that you will never change, that you have been like this for years and maybe you've even tried to change, but change is just not happening? And so maybe you feel stuck and that whatever that thing that you wish you could change or you tried to change, it will just be like this forever. Change is hard, but change is possible. And change is good, but change is hard. And change does take discipline. So I would just love to share a few things about change that I've learned over the last few years. And I hope it will be encouraging to you to not give up and to get after the change that you want in your life. So first, change is hard. To try to change our habits and to do something new or different, it's hard because we're used to whatever it is that we've been doing, whatever those habits are. We've been doing them for a long time, or the way we've been thinking. We've maybe been thinking that way for a really long time. And so it's hard to make changes. To try to do something new might happen for a few days and then it gets really hard because it's different and you just want to go back to the old way, the things that are normal, the things that are easy. And so when we try to bring about change in our life, it's hard. So if you've ever felt like that change is hard, there is absolutely nothing wrong with you because change is hard. The other thing is change is possible. Change is possible. So those thoughts that I started with at the beginning of the video, when we think, oh, I'm stuck, it'll never be this way, that is a lie from the enemy. And it's a lie against the Bible because God is the only person who does not change. So I know from Malachi 3:6, it says, "For I, the Lord, do not change." And here's also good news with Malachi 3:6. "I, the Lord, do not change. Therefore you, O children of Jacob, are not consumed." The Lord doesn't change. He is gracious and mercy, and he keeps his characteristics that we can know from truth in the word, and he does not change. Also, Hebrews 13:8 says, Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forever. So God does not change, but you are not God and you can change. I can change because we're not God. So actually when we're believing those thoughts that we can't change and it'll always be this way and we're stuck, it is a lie. Or they are lies, whichever ones, maybe you're believing multiple ones that you're believing, it's a lie. You can change. Change is possible. So be encouraged and try to just cast out those lies and shut them down so that you can pursue the good changes that you are prompted and led to do. So change is hard, but change is possible. And then lastly, change takes discipline. So this is kind of like change is hard. That's just a statement. That's just a truth. But if you really want to get change in your life and to implement change, you're going to have to put some discipline in place and you're going to have to work. You're going to have to work because it's hard and it's going to take learning. It's going to take trying new things and getting used to new things so that you might see change come about. So change takes discipline and work, and you have to do the work. No one else could do the work for you. I am a fitness instructor and a personal trainer and also a counselor. And one of my favorite things that I've learned early on when I was a brand new counselor is that the counselor should not work harder than the client. The client who wants to do the change has to do the work. And then it's the same. Oh my word, I found even more as a personal trainer and as a coach that, oh, I want change so much and I love to give helpful tips and to work and to draw out what changes need and what are the ideas and how can we do it. But the client, the person getting after the change, has to do the work. So change is hard, but change is possible, and you have to do the work and be disciplined. Here's my favorite quote about discipline. Life is pain. You get to choose the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. And you just have to sit with that to really contemplate that quote. Discipline is painful. So that change is hard. Discipline is painful. But all of life is painful. Sometimes we think, oh, that's too hard. I don't want to do it. It's painful. And so then we have regret because we don't do the things, the behaviors, the thinking, we don't make any kind of changes, and then we have regret. So you get to choose that. That's my favorite quote. And then my favorite passage about change is Hebrews. Hebrews 12. I love all of these verses. Hebrews 12, 1 through 13. All of it is about discipline for me. It's a call and even just encouragement to get after it, to run with endurance, to look to Jesus, and to consider him as our example. It's also just telling us the Lord loves us and he's treating us as sons and daughters, and the discipline is good. And then these are the last verses that I'll kind of share on this. It says, for the moment, this is verse 11 in Hebrews 12, for the moment, all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant, but later it yields the peaceful fruit of righteousness for those who have been trained by it. Therefore, so this is the discipline part, you need to do the work. Therefore, lift your drooping hands, strengthen your weak knees, and make straight paths for your feet, so that what is lame will not be put out of joint, but rather be healed. So we might have some lame things in our life. We have to make straight ways for our feet. We have to lift our drooping hands and get after and do the work. We have to strengthen our weak knees, because we don't want that lame thing to be just broken and put out of joint. We want it to be healed, and that takes discipline. Now, did you catch that in verse 11? For the moment, all discipline seems painful rather than pleasant. It goes back to the quote that I love, that life is pain, and you get to choose the pain of regret or the pain of discipline, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. So I'm calling you to get after some change and to consider the goodness of discipline. So go sit in Hebrews 12 verses 1 through 13 and just process with the Lord and think about the discipline that he's calling you to. Do some inward work to think and consider, what changes do you need to make? Nothing is wrong with you when that change is hard. Nothing. Change is hard for everyone, but it's necessary because we want to get healed. We want to get better and better. We don't want the things that are broken to just get worse. So I'm cheering for you, and I hope that you will consider this message and you will get after it and pursue the good discipline that God's calling you to. God bless.